Welcome to our video series. Here, we talk with experts from the field of electric vehicles and batteries on important issues that are facing this sector. Today, we're talking about the opportunities and challenges in recycling lithium-ion batteries, which are used in many models of electric vehicles to store energy. As the market for electric vehicle grows in India, so will the demand for these batteries. And in the long run, if we truly want our transportation sector to have a low carbon footprint, it is critical that India ensures recycling of these batteries so that we can minimize mining for lithium and also ensure that they are discarded in an environmentally safe way. Today, to talk about this important topic, we have with us Divya Agarwal from Exide and Leclanche Energy, also called Nexcharge, which provides customized energy storage solutions for various uses, including transport. Divya is the head legal company secretary at Nexcharge and has over 10 years of experience working in various industries like manufacturing, printing, technology, and media. Divya, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Sonali, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Great. I'm so happy to have you. And let's dive right into this discussion that we are here for. Uh, so,
Definitely.
yeah. So, Divya, as you know, India has set itself an ambitious target to shift its transportation sector from a dependence on fossil fuels like petrol, diesel, and gas to electricity. And many
Right.
state governments have either drafted or have even released EV policies that are aimed at boosting sales and manufacturing. And
Correct.
this momentum is definitely encouraging, and there's no doubt that this transition will reduce air pollution and even carbon emissions in the beginning.
Yes.
But without a long-term sustainability strategy for electric vehicles, like how they're actually charged and how the batteries are produced, eventually even EVs will have a high carbon footprint. And this is what
Yeah.
brings us to the debate around recycling lithium-ion batteries. So, as a private player offering eco-friendly energy solutions for the transport sector, what are your thoughts on how lithium-ion battery recycling can be made successful in India? And what role can private players like yourself play in ensuring the recycling of these batteries?
Okay. So the recycling I very much agree that the circular economy or the proper environment for lithium-ion battery is not very much developed at
Mm,
present in India,
yeah.
and as compared to the other countries, like if you go to China, US, European countries, it is very much developed, and they are using electric vehicles since a long period of time. So we could use their experience, we could use their policies, we could use their uh, the pros and cons, what they have done and what data they have gathered over the year, and how they proceed further, how they improvise it. This is one thing. Second thing is, there are many steps government needs to take, like if I'll give you example, we can introduce a concept of battery passport or a digital passport concepts, to move to track the movement of a battery from one stakeholders to another stakeholder. There is a concept of EPR, which is also detailed in, I think, this battery waste management rules, which is in the draft stage. So when this rules comes out, this EPR concept will also be implemented. And then where we are lacking, that we do not have the well developed research facilities. We need to have the research facilities which focuses on advanced battery recycling technologies, because unlike the lead acid batteries, the lithium ion batteries contains the precious metals like cobalt, nickel, lithium, and all. And once we have to ensure that how maximum or how fully we can recover these metals, because you know that India doesn't have the raw material resources as of
Mm,
now. So
yeah.
if we are able to recover these precious metals through a recycling technologies which we could innovate, or which we could develop domestically or maybe internationally, if we could do that, then we can have the raw material sources. We can reuse those precious metals either in the battery itself, or we can see that if any other industry, these precious metals can be used, like steel industry, alloy industry, and any other chemical industry. Then there is also a need of, what I understand, is a proper legal framework, a regulatory framework or a guideline, because at present there is a we don't know whose responsibility is what. So if there is a legal framework or a guideline which defines the clear-cut responsibility, okay, producer is liable for collection and recycling it, or the responsibility needs to be casted, and the penalties and all those systems should be there. And though this draft rule is there, so maybe our problem will be sorted when this draft rule will be here, will be notified. Recycling of lithium-ion battery is a complex technology and it involves cost, and there are many steps. You have to pre-sort according to the chemistry wise, then you have to shred, and you have to do follow so many steps. So there should be you have to collect it, then you have to see whether it can be reused in the second life technology, second life applications or not. If it cannot be used in the second life application, then you have to recycle it. So all these facilities, the location of all these facilities should be decided keeping in mind the cost. So like you said that we don't know how lithium ion batteries would help in reducing the carbon emission. So there is this recent debate was going on. This can be done when we use more renewable energy in the electricity generation. If we use more renewable energies in the electricity generation, if there is a policy around which says that for electricity generation you have to use 30% or 40% of the renewable energy, and we have the facility, then it will also helps in reducing the carbon emission. Nexcharge has created a processes. Nexcharge, being a responsible industry, we are ensuring that whatever the lithium-ion batteries, end-of-life lithium-ion batteries, should go for recycling with the registered recycler, shouldn't dumped in the landfills. We are ensuring that if there is a second life use of these batteries, if we can use those batteries in the second life, like telecom, UPS, then we can do it. And also, we can also, the Nexcharge can also innovate the technologies. We have a very well-developed research and development department, and we can have the technologies in which we can have the chemistry with lower carbon emissions, like a LFP chemistry, like an LMO chemistry, followed by NMC and NMO chemistry. But it all depends upon like how market demand is,
right.
We are also trying to have a technology or design a battery in such a way that it is easier to dismantle, like standardization of a size or with a lower variety of materials and all. And also we are developing batteries with advanced BMS technology and a thermal management to increase the life of the battery, as well as those are very.
So, you made an interesting point. You spoke about how India can use global experience around recycling lithium-ion batteries,
Yes.
because a lot of it is happening in countries which are way ahead of us in the electric mobility journey. But how about the learnings from the recycling of lead-acid batteries in India? We do know that India has done a little bit of work around recycling lead-acid batteries. How can those learnings guide us to better design the lithium-ion battery recycling? It could even be learnings from any failures in the lead-acid recycling journey.
Right. Yeah. So Exide Industries Limited, our parent company, is a market leader in lead acid batteries, and I do communicate with them. And what an understanding I've got is that there is no comparison between the lead acid recycling and the lithium-ion recycling as on a primary basis. Because what happens now in the lead acid battery, we have over a century head start. There is already an intensive and integrated manufacturing and distribution system. There is already a recycling technology established. We already have a legal framework. We have a clear-cut responsibility cast. So the lead acid battery, everything is fully developed. We know what we have to do. But in case of lithium ion, it has to be developed yet. We have to see what we need to do, right? And the another point is the lead acid battery. In case of lead acid battery, these are 95% recyclable as compared to lithium ion batteries, which are only 5% recyclable. In lead acid battery, there are only three materials, that is lead, sulfuric acid, and lead oxide, and a plastic case. And in which lead is if you go for the recycling technology, then the lead is when you recycle lead, it is a highly pure and you get a good amount of lead that you can use in another battery. But that is not in case of that is not in case of a lithium ion battery. The lithium ion battery involves a complex recycling technology because it contains so many precious metals. So, and every metal has a different environmental effect, and basis on the chemistry, you need to decide the recycling technology. So a more complex system needs a more complex, understanding, and the more complex industries implementation.
I understand the point you're making on it not being comparable when it comes to the technology of recycling. But there is another
Yeah,
aspect of recycling, which is the chain of collection of the batteries. Even lead acid batteries eventually from the end user have to be collected back into the system so that they're recycled.
right.
And that is also a gap area right now for lithium ion batteries. Is
Yeah,
there
yeah.
any learning from the collection processes of lead acid batteries that can be replicated for lithium ion batteries, or is there something that we've not got right in lead, like is there something that we can learn from the failures in the collection process of lead acid batteries so that we get it right for the lithium ion batteries?
Yeah, so that's why I've told that we can introduce this battery passport or digital passport concept, which is not there at present in the case of lead acid battery. And many of the lead acid batteries, because of not proper tracking mechanism, is not able to, we are not able to recycle them, or it's not
Right.
going to the recycling facilities and all. So we can bridge this gap by introducing this concept of battery passport, so that we can track the movement of battery from one stakeholder to another stakeholder.
Yeah,
So
that
that
makes
is one. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that
that is
definitely
that
makes a
is
lot of sense.
yeah, yeah. So that is there. And the another is, in case of lead acid battery, I think that is the main thing when you are a manufacturer, how the battery, unless it is reaches into the hand of recycler.
Yeah.
But when it reaches to the hand of recycler, your responsibility doesn't end there. You should also
Right.
ensure that the recycler is also doing justice with this batteries. It shouldn't happen that the recycler is also dumping in the landfills,
Right.
taking
Yeah, of
from you and
course.
dumping in the landfills. Yeah, right. And not recycling it from with the proper technology. So this EPR system and all, which they are introducing in the battery waste new rules. So there will be a clear-cut responsibility. I suppose that there will be a clear-cut responsibility which says that registered recycler also needs to be ensured that these batteries are properly recycled. And the precious metals and the reuse of the precious metals, how it to be reused, because we do not have at present, we are unaware that how these precious metals to be recovered, or recovered, and in which application it is to be reused. So
Right.
these are the gaps in case of lithium ion battery. So how you can, with half knowledge, how you can develop a system.
So another issue that I was thinking about that we can expect in the recycling of lithium-ion batteries is that right now there's a lot of research and development happening in EV batteries, and
Right.
with various battery chemistries being developed in the lithium-ion family. What kind of impact can this have on recycling? Can it would become so much more complicated because
Yeah.
of these developments?
So, Sonali, I did some research on this when I got this question in my mind. There is one committee I was reading the paper, and according to Mr. Ashok Jhunjhunwala,
Hmm.
who was there in this committee, the he was saying that it was in their research paper, and it was like the LFP batteries, like the chemistry you are saying have an impact on the recycling. The LFP batteries have a low capacity degradation as compared to the LMO, NMC, and this batteries. And it has a low capacity degradation, which directly means that when you recycle it, you will be having low chemical or low precious metal production, low production of this thing, which is not proportionate you to the proportionate with the high cost of recycling technology. So that kind of impact the chemistry can have. But there is also this conflicting question is in my mind, that at one side we are saying that this LFP chemistry is having a low carbon emission, and the other side it is not a best chemistry for a recycling. So I think it is a industry to decide that how they are gonna use the technology, or like at what level they are gonna use which technology.
You had mentioned that lithium-ion batteries are fairly large in size, and handling
Right.
them is harder than other batteries. We actually also hear that safety is a critical issue in transporting and storing lithium-ion batteries, because they can be a fire hazard, which is different
Right.
from, say, collecting other batteries that use lead or cobalt. So, are you aware of, are there any norms or regulations in place already for how lithium ion batteries should be collected from a safety standpoint?
So see, there are international regulation UN 3480, UN 3481, UN 3483, which talks about this multimodal transport regulations, and these regulations are mandatory in all countries except in India also. But I haven't seen that India has adopted these regulations till now. So India can adopt these regulations. And about the transportation and safety of lithium-ion batteries, it is very well enumerated in our this draft rules. When
Hmm.
these rules will come out, I think this problem will also be resolved. And regarding the storage, these are generally, the fire safety hazards and all those regulations comes into the picture. But in India, right now, we do not have any clarity on the regulations. But as an industry perspective, since we have the global experience, in
Hmm.
Nexcharge, we are, we are storing and we are transporting batteries in line with those global experience.